about the triple bottom line. And all along, you know why we are doing this, because everything that we are learning, the principles that we are learning, we want to apply that in logistics and transport. So everything that you are learning about sustainability, that whatever we are doing today, whatever activities, the logistics design that we are putting up today, the transport systems and everything, should not create problem for us, and it should not be a problem for the generations yet unborn. We don't need to create a deferred environmental problem such that what we do today will turn out to be a very huge problem for tomorrow's generation. So let's do things well. We need to do transportation. We need to do warehousing and all those things. We need to manufacture, but we don't do these things to pollute the environment to the extent that we may not feel the impact today, but the impact is deferred so that when we are gone, our future generation will now come to face serious problems. For example, galamsey. We extract gold from the ground, from river bodies, forest. So look at how we are destroying our forests, destroying our soils, destroying our water bodies, and even depleting the gold deposits. Now, today we still have water. Garden water is still flowing. We drink and all that. What about in 50 years' time, when we are likely not to be around? Then all the river bodies dry up, all the gold deposits are depleted, all the forests have turned into deserts, and then the soils cannot, support the growth of crops. So you can now imagine what will happen to that particular generation and the subsequent ones. So sustainability says, do whatever that you want to do to make sure that you satisfy your needs today. But in doing so, you should have in mind that we have intergenerational, future generations. Okay, we have future generations. So do it such that we don't compromise their opportunity to also come and enjoy same. So we want to take the triple bottom line. These are the sustainability pillars. Then we'll try to go into a little bit detail. We have already done it, so we'll not be, spending my time here. So the triple bottom line is a framework. It's a sustainability framework that encourages organizations to evaluate their performance based on 3 interdependent pillars: people, that is social sustainability; planet, environmental sustainability; and profit, economic sustainability. So we all know this already. Okay, we know this already. So we have the 3 P's. So if you say people, it refers to social sustainability. If the next P is environmental sustainability, then the other P is economic. We don't need to bring them in any order. Okay. So you can start the first P. Just know that each P stands for something. So social, environmental, and then what? Economic. Okay. This was introduced in 1984. And then the triple bottom line concept challenges the traditional profit-only mindset in business, especially within high-impact sectors like logistics and transport. High-impact sectors. So logistics activities, as we were told the other day, 25% of global emissions emanate from logistics activities, transportation. And that should tell you that the logistics sector is a high impact sector. And so we must try and ensure that once we make our profits, we do not compromise the social and environmental sustainability aspect of it. So that is it. So we have the triple bottom line here. And if you look at each one, all of them, they cut into the other. So take people. People, these are like Venn diagrams, right? So people here, you see that it has entered into planets and then also to profit. Profit has entered into people and then also to planet. And planet has also entered into people and then profit. So it means each time we are making a decision in one of the pillars, it has an impact on the others. So for example, we want to make profits. We want to make profits. Nobody says don't make profits, but the organization takes place within a certain environment. And that environment is occupied by people. That environment is occupied by people. And then people and workers. And the same environment is the planet. We establish our business on the land. And we may destroy the land in order to get what we want. Road construction, gold mining, oil extraction, and all that. So that is it. So let's take people. So when we take people, health and safety in transport operations, community impact of distribution centers, fair wages and ethical sourcing. These are key issues that border on what? People. That is society. So health and safety in transport operations. Well, transport operations do not carry themselves. People do it. So do we have measures, safety measures, health measures? What about the community, the impact of our, like we have distribution centers. If you go to Takrady, you have so many places where pipes, oil drilling pipes, they are scattered everywhere, especially around the airport. During cocoa seasons, where they transport a lot of cocoa from the hinterlands to Takrady, you see these heavy duty cars, these articulated trucks loaded with cocoa. Then they park around Fijai areas, around the harbor areas. You go to Apawan. Those who are in Takrady, you know what I'm talking about. The impact. Then when we come to planet, carbon emission reductions, sustainable warehousing, biodegradable packaging. So our activities in terms of people, we need to ensure that we take care of society, and then we also put in place health and safety measures to ensure that the impact on people or society is not severe. Wages, then how we source. Then in doing that, we want to undertake activities that will reduce emissions. Okay, you know, we can't do with our warehousing where we keep our stock and other things. But what do we do around the warehousing? How do we do it in terms of lights? Is it solar panel? Do we draw water from Ghana water, or we can find a way of tapping rainwater just to look green? Then the packaging. Do we use this single these plastics that we are using, or we need to get innovative ways of using biodegradable packaging, so that after we use what we want, the packages will not destroy the environment. It will not pollute the environment. You know the problems of single-use plastics. When we say single-use, the black polythene bags that we have, after you use it, most times the next is to throw it away. So you put some baller in it in the house, you go and dump it, or the trucks come to pick the baller, they go and dump it at the warehouse. The plastic can be there for thousands of years and it will never, get rotten, and has serious consequences on the environment. Then also profit. Once you are making your profit, they are saying that your system should be designed such that you reduce waste. Okay? You lower cost. You build brand loyalty, investor interest in ESG. ESG, as we said, is environmental, social, and governance. So the investors that want to invest in your business will look at your environmental metrics, social, and then the governance. All right, so do you have anything to say about the triple bottom line? Hello?
No,
Isaac.
Hi.
So we should move on, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, so now, this is a framework. They've told you that it's a framework. How do you then use it as a strategic tool?
Yes, Doc.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want to say something? Hello?
Oh, please continue.
I thought somebody wanted to say something. So the reason why we are handling it as we want to use it as a framework. The TBL, we are using it as a framework. Okay. And how we can, it can be used to assess and improve sustainability practices across supply chains. So, as we have already noticed, whatever activities that we undertake should protect the environment, empower people and respect, enhance competitiveness and resilience. Okay, so now we want to link it to the Sustainable Development Goals. And I have selected some. Definitely, we have 17 Sustainable Development Goals. We have a total of them. And you people, anyway, I see people write their thesis, and most of you don't talk anything about sustainability. You just say impact of inventory, impact of supply chain, impact of this, impact. Because you just go, you look at old theses, and then because you want to model your own along that line, you don't want to suffer. You just go and pick something like that. Then you see that the topics are so familiar, you don't know which is which, and it doesn't motivate the marker to give you something good. Try to deviate from that. Get something that is relatively new and work, and it will motivate somebody like us. Now, we have the SDGs and then we have 8. The goal of 8, SDG 8, that Sustainable Development Goal 8, is decent work and economic growth. So you see that is directly in line with the sustainability thing that we are talking about. So it promotes sustained inclusive economic growth, improve resource efficiency, achieve full and productive employment. So we are talking about the people aspect, and this one is both people aspect and economic. And when you come to the relevance to procurement, logistics, and sustainability, it fosters inclusive procurement that support SMEs and local jobs, embed fair labor standards in supply contracts. So we just want to take each one and relate it. We are just relating them to the triple bottom line because they are not in isolation. For example, if we take 9, it's industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Definitely, you need to build infrastructure. If we want to survive, we can't survive without industries. So industries are physical structures. We need to be innovative. So once we are building the infrastructure, we think about tomorrow. We don't want to burden tomorrow. So what sustainable infrastructure can we build? Use innovation, and then the infrastructure, if it is road constructions, bridges, if it is warehousing, develop it such that at least it does not emit, it does not create more emissions. So if you take number 9, so the target is that develop sustainable infrastructure, enhance technological capabilities of industrial sectors, and promote inclusive and sustainable industrialization. And this will encourage investment in green infrastructure, strengthen innovation in supply chains, example, e-logistics, promote procurement of local, eco-efficient technologies, and blah, blah, blah. Now you go to 11, which is about sustainable cities and our communities. And the other day we were talking about even waste management, environmental sanitation. And these are very practical ones now. In fact, since morning it has been raining dangerously. And you know, each time it rains, you know what happens in Accra. So is the city of Accra sustainable? This SDG is 11, sustainable cities and communities. So improve public transport. Is that what we have done in Accra? I'm just talking about Accra alone. I don't want to talk about Kumasi. Let's just talk about Accra. So sustainable cities and communities. What have our predecessors done that today, each time it rains, we have flooding? Serious flooding. Today, I also saw a video about a building that has collapsed. And I think 2 or so people were trapped. Can you imagine the trauma? If, God forbid, you are the one under the trauma, like, I can, you just imagine. And the flooding in town, you have your home, or you've rented a place, and suddenly it rains and the rain comes to flood your room, and then the water is at your knee level, and look at the frustration. Your mattress and everything is gone. No, the trauma. Sometimes it's not about what you just lose, but that the psychological impact that will hit you, it will take a very long time. So when we talk about climate change, all this thing boil down to climate change. You know, the erratic nature of rains these days is one of the major causes is climate change. And what contributes to climate change? Human activities. So look at Accra. Now, if it is raining, depending on where you are in Accra or where you want to go, you need to be very careful. Otherwise, you may leave and you will not come back. Somebody goes to job, he doesn't come back again. So think about the generations before us. How did they plan Accra that today we are bearing all these consequences? And how are we going to solve this problem and also build a better society so that tomorrow's generation will not come and bear even worse consequences? And it is logistics. Last week, or is it last 2 weeks, there was I think a Chinese mall in Ashama, and the whole mall inside, everything flooded, water at knee level. Can you imagine? Sometimes people grant permits for property owners to build at places where they are not supposed to build, especially on water courses, water channels. So we want to build. I must also have a house in Accra. So you do it, either the rain comes to wash the building down or they come to demolish it, then you are crying. And the point I have always advocated for is that the one who gave the permit should be the one who should bear the consequences. Because you have the map, the design of the city, and then you go ahead and grant that permit. So if they begin to punish severely those who grant the permits, I think this thing will stop. And even you are going to build a house. Look at the investment, and you know there's a waterway. Then you go and build it. Why? What will that do to you? Even if you go to a village somewhere in Gomwa, go and build stuff. Is it not better? So if you take that, this one I'm just emphasizing because we are seeing the practical aspect of it. That people, when Accra, they started planning Accra, we were not there. Let's begin from Kwame Nkrumah's time and whatever, up to now. Those of you who are in Accra, go to Dansuma and see how the place is well laid. Dansuma, that is one of the best estates in West Africa. It used to be the largest. I don't know whether it is still the largest. So you get to Dansuma and you see the layout. Everything looks so nice. We cannot say the same thing for other places. Sometimes you go to East Legon, the layout is not as nice as Dansuma. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
Yes, we just want to apply. We are talking about sustainability, the principles of sustainability and how they apply to logistics and transport. So I'm just giving this practical example to let you know that when we are planning today, the logistics systems, it could be roads, it could be industries, it could be warehouses and whatever. Plan aside that you don't create a problem for the future. Do it nicely so that it will be durable, so that tomorrow people will not come and suffer. So that's why I'm talking so much about this particular one, sustainable cities. That is SDG 11, sustainable cities and communities. And this season, people will be traumatized till the rain stop. Well, each time the clouds are covering the sky, some people are internally bleeding because they know if it rains, they have problem. Then we also have SDG 12, which is responsible consumption and production. This relates directly to natural resource extraction. We have been extracting gold since colonial time up to now. Go to Bogoso right now, and you pity the town. Go to Takwa, go to Daman, go to Prestia, Huni Valley, go to Obuase. You where the mine go, just go there. Obuase itself, Takwa, Bogoso, Prestia, Daman, Huni Valley, whatever. I know some of these places. You get there, and the billions of dollars, no cities, so have come from the land, the people, the land there. And the city, people are still using public toilets. The road networks are terrible. So what at all are we doing? Do we have responsible production? What about consumption? So we should do things like that. It puts less pressure on the environment. So in some of these things, try to know how do we apply these principles to logistics, because logistics we extract raw materials, we transform. It means we move them from the extraction point to the manufacturing point, we transform them, then we distribute them to the market. And everywhere involves transportation and then distribution. And that will call for what? More road networks, more warehouses, or more distribution centers. How have we designed these things so that it will not create more of the emissions today, and that it will also be there to protect future generations? Now, we also have 13, SDG 13, which is climate action itself. Climate action. So here, integrate climate measures into policies. Ghana has got good policies on climate change. But as to whether we are doing it, we normally the annual summit of climate-related conferences or summits. We go there and our leaders will talk plenty, but just go to Takwa areas, look at our river bodies, and then you know that we are doing directly the opposite. We don't take it seriously. Like this galamsey is like murder, mass murder. But the black man, we don't see it as murder, because mercury, definitely you take it, it will kill you slowly. Children are being born without nose, without, sometimes the eye is on the forehead, one eye, sometimes no ears, one arm, like confusion everywhere. Imagine you are a young lady, you married to a young guy, you want to start a family with joy and everything, then you deliver a baby like that. Just imagine the impact that it will have on your life from now till maybe thy kingdom come. Is it the joy, the happiness that you have been looking for? And this is somebody's irresponsible behavior. Now we are eating contemporary. The fruits that we are eating, bananas from the mining areas and all that, and the water, nobody is safe. All of us are not safe. Only we don't go for checkups and things. And I learned kidney problems are rising, not among old people, the younger generation. The other day in Nigeria, they show a picture of the dialysis center, and you see the young guys, not old people. So what are we doing? We want to enjoy at the expense of people's lives. So how do we apply these principles to logistics? That is the main idea of this course. Application of sustainable or sustainability principles to, logistics policies. Now, in Ghana and across West Africa, the adoption of the triple bottom line framework is gaining momentum as policy makers, businesses, and civil society push for transport systems that are inclusive, climate smart, and economically robust. You can Google later to find out about Agenda 2063, the AU Agenda, I think 2063 on climate change. So please try, because this is about Africa. Then let's see what the policy is all about. It's Agenda 2063, AU Agenda 2063. So these things that we are learning are not abstract, they are practical. So if you take the social aspect, okay, which focuses on the human dimension of logistics systems, what do we fetch out from this particular dimension? So get to know that it's all about the welfare of people, employees, and then community people, their rights, and inclusivity. Inclusivity means you don't design the system to eliminate. You design the system to include everybody, women, children, the aged, and all that. Including, if it is transport, these Aboboya drivers, Pragia drivers, Okada people, and all that. You must make sure that you factor in what they also need in the system. What contribution can they make? And we've been talking about that. So let's take the key element, health and safety, ensuring that drivers, warehouse staff, and port workers operate under safe conditions with adequate training and protective gear. So when it comes to the social dimension, it's about human beings. They are right. You don't abuse people. You don't exclude some people. You find a way of making sure that the policy that you are making is inclusive, so that you take care of women, you take care of the aged and all that, and especially also deprived communities. Whenever it rains heavily, flooding normally occurs in mostly deprived areas where drainage systems are bad, where the people just throw rubbish anyhow, go to Nema areas, Alajo areas, and where again, Ashama areas. You come to circle areas, because circle is not residential area, but it's a commercial area, but illegal structures have sprung up and then has made the whole place something else. So whenever it rains, there is problem. So in this case, have we developed the circle area sustainably? Did we consider sustainability principles? The overhead is built, the under there could have been turned into some nice tourist center where The place should be neat and all that. Is that what we have done? We go to Pukwasi area, the overpass and all. So what are we doing? And each time we keep expanding the routes. Somebody thought that the N1 highway would have eased traffic. But I'm telling you, sometimes the traffic on that route, you'll be shocked. One key thing about easing traffic is at the intersections. You can expand the route. When you get to the intersection, then there is no overpass. For example, you are from Malam Junction going to Awoshi or La Paz area. So when you get to Manyard, you want to turn to Awoshi, the traffic there can be dangerous because like there should have been some overpass there. Those from Malam Junction and La Paz to Malam, you just climb up. And then those who are turning this way will go. Those from, I don't know the names. But you see that the roads, maybe 4 lane here, 4 lane here. But when you get to the intersection, then there's a blockade. Then you stand there, stand there, stand there, stand there. And apart from the blockade, the waste of time and things, the engines are on. And so far as the engines are on, you are emitting what? Carbon dioxide. And these carbon dioxides, flow into the atmosphere, and then they create the pollution that we are talking about. So that's the application. Now, community impact, assessing the effects of logistic infrastructure. Example, distribution centers, truck terminals on local communities, including displacement, noise pollution, and then road safety. Then ethical labor practices, fair wages, gender equity, freedom from child labor, and inclusion of marginalized populations are central to socially responsible logistics. But do we think about these things in our workplaces? Can we contribute a little on this? Hello? Do we practice this? I know some of you are working in logistics firms. Hello? Do we do some of these things? Munkaso.
We are not talking because we do not do it.
Munsoriu.
Ghana
You remember? Ghana for Munsoriu. When you were chopping the money, did you tell them that they should come for some? Now that you are hot, you say Ghana for Munsoriu. Munsoriu going. Anyway, but I hope you are picking the logic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Doc.
Yes, so everything that we are learning, we just want to apply it to logistics to fit what we are supposed to be doing. So sustainability in logistics and transport. All right, so Ghana specific example, incorporating is informal sector transporters such as Kaya, female health porters, and Okada, that is motorcycle riders, into urban logistic planning represents a progressive step towards social inclusion. Rather than criminalizing these actors, city authorities can regulate, professionalize, and integrate them into last mile delivery systems with training and proactive policies. You know, I did something on waste management. Yes, my PhD thesis on waste management, and you get to know how important these tricycles are. Even right now, as we are talking, some of the places we live, the big trucks, waste trucks do not come there. It's the Abubuyas that come around every morning. They get to the neighborhood, then they blow the horn to alert you if you have waste. You take it down for them to then you pay something. Imagine suddenly these people are not there. The Zoom lions, the big guys who they can't do anything. And these people, their contribution is massive if you accumulate. And that is waste logistics. But the point is that if you don't consider them, you don't bring them to the formal sector and train them and then monitor their activities, then how do you know where they go to dump these waste that they pick? Because already you are saying you are criminalizing their activities. So you don't bother to trace and check where they go to dump the waste that they collect from the communities. So if they go and they dump them in waterways and all that, what will you do? But as soon as you bring them on board, you include them in the professional system, then you register them, you have a database, so you can now monitor and track their activities. So anytime we see these Aboboya people, you know, our system, we have been trained side that we see these people as ordinary people, Okada guy to Abubuya rider, like we don't, I mean, and we believe in formal sector. Sometimes you are in the formal sector and your monthly salary is maybe 2.5. And the Ghanaian, every Ghanaian will prefer the 2.5 for a month to doing maybe selling coconut and getting maybe 15,000 a month. But because every morning you dress, you wear your tie and suit, people respect you more than maybe somebody who has who is selling the coconut. He makes a lot of money every day, but your own comes just at the end of every month. But every day he sees money. You see, that mentality should change. So, in case you are designing a policy or a proposal, you should think about this inclusivity aspect, which is the what do you call it? Climate justice. We'll get to that maybe next week. Climate justice. So, what is the relevance of including the Okada people and all that in our policy? What would be the relevance? It reduces social conflict and resistance to logistic infrastructure projects. It builds trust between companies and communities, improving supply chain security, and it enhances reputation and helps meet the ESG standards required by global buyers and investors. So it's good. If you don't have any idea about this, you always see these Abubuya guys and Okada people as troublemakers in town. One thing I don't like about them, especially the Okada people, is when you are driving and you are not careful, they either wiped out your driving mirror or you knock somebody down. Somebody can just take your driving mirror away. I don't know where they only want to go. They are rushing. So when you are moving, you have to be careful. Sometimes you want to turn. And if you are not careful, as soon as you want to move to the other lane, you crash with somebody. And that will be a major problem. So if these guys are called and then they register them, they have the data about them, then they train them, then they monitor their activities. They will be afraid because if you misbehave, your records are there, they can easily, pick you up. And that will bring discipline. Okay. And already we know they are solving a lot of problems in the system. In Accra here, we have communities outskirts who may not have this formal taxis and other things. The Pragia people, no, Aboboya people are working. They are doing a lot too. Those who know Kekus, I stayed Kekus for over 4 years. And this Pragia people, they are all over the place. And their fares are cheaper than taxis. So sometimes the taxi drivers tend to fight them. And they're everywhere. Everywhere. If they are not there, I can tell you the queue in town will be serious. Even in Accra. Sometimes people, you'll be driving this Awoshi Ablikma route and people will stand by the roadside for hours. In the evening, you go to Accra, people are coming back and they will stand by the roadside for hours. What crime have they committed? And if our ancestors have designed a system that way, do we also design it that way or improve upon it so that the future generation do not come to bear this kind of wahalas? Now, we want to conclude on the social aspect by saying that people are the lifeblood of logistics systems. Just get to know about that. Everything that we are doing, it is for the people. We want to serve people. We want people to serve us. We want to move goods, and the goods are for people. We want to also get raw materials. We need to keep them safe at a place. So we need to develop infrastructure, everything. At the end of the day, everything points out to human beings. Human beings are the lifeblood of logistics systems. Just let it sink in. So prioritizing social sustainability ensures that growth in the logistics sector translates into shared prosperity, equity, and dignity for all. Imagine you have so many public buses that in the morning you don't have problem. Maybe they have their own exclusive lanes. So you can, if you are at Adenta, you can sleep and wake up maybe 5:30 or 6 o'clock, because as soon as you dress up, you get there, they are there, you jump in. Then no traffic, it moves to Accra Center, you get to your workplace. When you close, the same thing. This is dignity, stress-free system. And that alone will make people contribute more. You have more energy to contribute at work. But imagine you get to work 10:30. You are weak. You go, you eat, you bath, you sleep now by 4 o'clock. You have to wake up. And Accra system, if you have children and they are going to school, you are just there. If they are in secondary school or university, fine. But the kindergarten, the primary school JSS, oh man. Every morning, the wahala that you go through, that alone will not make you go good. The children are also stressed. At dawn, you be waking them up. You wake them up. They respond. Then they are sleeping back. Then you knock them up. Every day, every day, every day. And even on weekends, they still go for extra classes. I don't know whether extra classes is a fashion or is really a necessity. We have made the whole system a fashion. All right. So are we okay with the application here?
Yes, Doc.
All right. So let's see the environmental aspect. This refers to minimizing the ecological footprint of transportation and supply chain activities. Given that logistics is a major contributor to greenhouse gas emissions, resource depletion and pollution, embedding environmental consciousness is vital for long-term planetary health and regulatory compliance. So that is what they've said. Then we see how, in practical terms, what it is. So, when it comes to social sustainability, what the key things that we need to do there. Now we are the planet's side, which is the environment. Now, what can we do to minimize environmental pollution or emission? Through route optimization, fuel-efficient vehicles, and a shift from road to rail or inland waterways. The other day I was talking about one train that is moving from the Bogoso up Sefi, Western North area. It cuts cocoa. Just one of them, one alone, pick all the cocoa that hundreds of trucks will pick. Then you just move ones to the harbor. But now the railway systems are not functioning. So you have these tracks, and then you construct the road within a short time, they destroy everything. And the emissions, each track, just imagine the emissions. Sometimes they block the entire route for this. So when we are designing the transport system, in order to reduce emissions, then we ensure that we optimize the routes. You get fuel-efficient vehicles. Mostly old vehicles, they emit a lot. You can buy electric trucks or the hybrids. Then even if it is possible, you shift from road to rail or inland. The Akosombo inland waterways. We have the Afram Plains. Now they want to construct a bridge across it for all that long. And if we're to be outside, I think in no way they have an inland waterway like that, and the way they are using it. We could have been moving food items from the north through the water river down to the coast here, but will not develop it. So imagine tomatoes from Burkina Faso, the number of trucks and the number of days it will take from Burkina Faso moving through the route from Burkina Faso to Hamlet to Wa to Sola to Bole to Bamboy to Kintampo to Techman to Kumasi to maybe Cape Coast down there, and then some also pass the Accra way, and I mean before they get down, then the routes have everything, their mission. But if we were to develop our waterways, one big, pantu or ship carry it will solve all the problem, and the ship even will emit less. Just one trip, one. So we want to design the system, and that is the contribution that we are being given here. Now, sustainable warehousing. You can also, in designing the warehousing, you can use solar panels, and then LED, light emitting what? Diode. So rainwater harvesting, as I've been saying it. If you don't harvest the rain and you want to depend on Ghana water, sorry. You want to depend on Ghana water, it means indirectly you are consuming electricity, more electricity. Each time you pump water, you put pressure on Ghana water, who also put pressure on ECG or VRA. That is a chain of consumption. But if you build your warehouse sustainably, so you use solar panels to supply you light, you design a rainwater system, rainwater harvesting system. Like this season, that it rains heavily, you store a lot of water, and then you use that water in your activities there. You can have drinking water that you want to find, but other things like using the place, cleaning the place, the washrooms and other things, you have a lot of water from harvested from the rain. So here, if you do this, you reduce the impact on the environment. And that is a principle. It's a sustainable principle we are applying to logistics. Then we have eco packaging and last mile delivery, promoting biodegradable, waste, recyclable packaging materials, and electric cargo bikes for intercity deliveries. So if we do all this, the impact on the environment will be less. And by that, we are contributing to what? We are contributing to saving the environment. So DHL, we all know DHL, they have a policy, the Go Green program, which seeks to implement carbon neutral shipping, electric delivery fleets, and green warehouses globally. So DHL, that's a typical logistics company, global company. For them, air, rail, water, road, they are everywhere. And considering the fact that transportation contributes 25% of global warming, if DHL wants a good name, then definitely you adopt some of these measures. So people now see that, oh, you care. DHL cares about the environment. Their logistics systems are sustainable. They are eco-friendly. Then you get that legitimacy that you want. So in terms of investors' confidence will be high in you because they know your activities are helping solve environmental problems. Then MTN Ghana Solar Logistics Initiative, that's another one. MTN has adopted solar-powered base stations and logistics centers, cutting energy use and emissions across its distribution network. That's an initiative. So these examples are telling you that companies can do more. What we are talking about is not easy. They say green transition, green transition, green transition. Okay, we have heard. But investors have pumped billions of dollars into oil and gas. And these investments are long-term, and check maybe 25 to 30 years. And you just come and say green transition. So that investment down there to extract the oil and gas, which you now consider as a problem to the environment. So that money, who is going to pay? So whilst we were fighting to go green, those people are also fighting to resist the green because they have their interest. And as I said, in intellectual discourse, when you are arguing, you must balance the argument. You must be impartial. You don't take one side. Even though you may support green transition, you try to also chip in. You say something small for the heavy carbon emission fuel system. Then you go back. You don't just condemn one aspect. You consider that, yes, green transition is good, but people have also invested heavily in oil and gas. And if suddenly we all transition to the green, what happens to their investment and blah? So you make that balanced argument. So Ghana's NDC commitment, each time you see NDC, it's nationally determined contribution. Okay? Yeah. Even in logistics, sometimes when you see NDC, it means National Distribution Center. But people, Ghana, we are too partisan. So anytime you hear NDC, people may know it. They just think that it's National Democratic Congress. So this NDC stands for nationally determined contributions. And when we are talking about distribution to, anytime you see NDC, it means National Distribution Centers. Are we okay?
Yes, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
All right. Okay. Then we also have EPA Ghana's environmental permitting requirements. So, for example, if you want to mine, if you want to drill oil, if you want to establish a solar farm or wind turbine farm, you need permission. You go through a lot of processes before you come out. And then the permission will start from maybe the Minister of Energy. You have the Energy Commission. And then you get to the PURC. Then you may get to the Environmental Protection Authority. It used to be Environmental Protection Agency. Now it's authority. So you must go through all these stages. And then the permits is, inspection and permission finally will come to the Environmental Protection Agency to ensure that, in fact, you have put in place a lot of measures not to harm the environment, and that what we are doing will rather reduce emissions. So that is that. So the environmental aspect, what do we do to reduce waste, reduce emissions, and then make sure that the environment is free. Maybe instead of single-use plastics, we design biodegradable waste or packaging. So the boxes that we are using, after we have used them, when you even throw them away in the landfill, it has no harmful effect on the environment. It can degrade, biodegradable. So biologically, it can easily be degraded. But single-use plastic, as what we are using, the sachet water, and then the black polythene bags and things, that one, they can be on the ground for thousands of years. They don't get degraded. And apart from the emissions, the pollutions and things, the issue of microplastics. Have you ever bought kinky and you see that apart from the
Husk,
the corn husk, they still wrap the kinky with rubber? Have you bought a kinky like that?
very common now.
And the FDA and nobody is talking about it. Imagine the heat. So there is microplastics. Everything goes into the kinky. So you sit down with your kinky and the fish you eat. After that, you take your toothpick, and then you have enjoyed. Is that not it? You don't know that you have bought sickness. You are buying sickness every day. Why would you use naturally? Our great grandparents, they knew that the corn has it's okay. Use it, it's even healthy. Then you use the same thing. Now you go, the plastics, where do they get them? You wrap and then boil this kinky. And plastic. I don't get it. So what in effect we're trying to say is that anything you do to harm the environment, it comes back to you as a human being. You pollute the air. It is you who breathe the air. You pollute the water. It is you who drink the water. You pollute the environment, the land. It is you who cultivate. So everything that we are doing, it comes back to us. And farming is logistics, if you don't know. Farming is logistics. It involves a lot of transportation. It involves value chain, moving from one place to the other, turning the raw maize or corn into something else, and then maize, turning it into chicken feed. And it has a lot of logistics. Because if you want to farm, if you want to engage in poultry farming, you need yellow corn or poultry feed. You want to engage in pig farming, you want to engage in cattle farm, anything at all, they must eat. So the linkage is there, and it involves a whole lot of transportation and logistics. You have to move things from one place to other in order to get to, where you do your farming. Now we have the profit aspect. While profit is traditionally the primary focus of logistics operations, the triple bottom line framework reframes profit as sustainable outcome, not just short-term financial gain. Economic sustainability means designing logistics systems that are cost-effective, resilient, and growth-enabling over time. In doing so, you must ensure that you reduce waste in the system. About some few years ago, VW was caught for non-compliance, these emissions things, and then they were penalized. I think they have to pay a fine of about 18 billion euros. 18 billion. When they catch you, the punishment is such that any other company will not even venture. But in Ghana, as I said, the last time they say Agrada was in prison for 15 years. Sooner than later, we heard that they've gone for appeal. Then they reduced it. That is the 15 years minus 14, 1 year now. She's in town. Imagine that woman has ever duped you. And this has happened. Will you ever forgive the system? Will you ever have trust in the system? And that is why sometimes when they catch a thief, instant justice, they kill you. When they allow you to go to the police station there, they will free you. Come and inflict harm on society again. Because the system is not a system. It's not a system. So the economic aspect is that we need to make profit, but find a way of adopting new ways, innovative ways of building the system such that it will generate less waste. Okay. If you are using so much water in manufacturing, you design the system such that you use less water. So that the system is there for long. And then the environmental impact is less, but you continue to make your profit. What you should know is that if industries are not there, we will not survive. Because rice, Milo, coffee, beverages, and all that is through industries. So we encourage what? Industrial growth. But each industry or factory or company establishes the factory for profit. But traditionally, yes, the focus was just profit. But now it's not just profit, it's long-term sustainability plus ensuring that you put in place measures that cut down costs, improve efficiency, and resilience. So in terms of the economic sustainability, waste reduction. So efficient fleet management, packaging reuse, and returns optimization directly reduce operational expenditures. Brand loyalty through sustainability. Consumers and business-to-business clients are increasingly making purchasing decisions based on environmental and ethical credentials. Yes. So we have the access to ESG-linked capital. Financial institutions and investors increasingly favor firms with environmental, social, and governance compliance. So even though you are there to make profit, people are watching you. And if your focus is just profit without thinking about the other aspect of sustainability, then we can reject you. Maybe a time will come very soon, a company will go to the bank to look for capital or a loan. Then they ask you about your environmental, like ESG compliance things. Very soon it will come. And you have to prove that. If you don't have, they may decide not to give you the loan. And that is where everybody will now be very serious. Now, Ghana government can get some monies if their energy transition policies are good, and then they see that you are making progress. Then there are investors that are there who can give you more money to invest in the green transition policies and other things. But if they assess you and then they see that no, maybe you are talking about it, but you are not doing it, there is something we call greenwashing. Who has heard that before? Hello?
I don't.
Who has heard about greenwashing before? If no, say no. If yes, say yes.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so note it down, go and then Google it.
Greenwashing.
Greenwashing.
Making product company activities.
What's the time now, please? And what time do we get the break?
3 o'clock.
It's 3 o'clock.
Yes, please.
Yeah, okay. All right, so let's see common ESG metrics. So we have the environmental metrics. You have carbon emissions, total greenhouse gases emitted. So they will check. There is a way of checking. Then energy consumption, amount of electricity, fuel, and energy used. They can check. So if your emission is high, and as I told you, we have something called carbon pricing. So they will say that every ton of emission that your company releases, if it is maybe $50, and if initially your company is emitting, let's say, 5,000 tons, so that'll be 5,000 multiplied by $50. And that is a lot of money. So if that is the policy, I'm just using a hypothetical example. if that is the policy, you'll be forced to reduce your emissions. The energy consumption. The energy consumption directly has an influence on the emissions. Then renewable energy usage, the percentage of energy from renewable sources. Can we give examples of renewable energy sources? Already we know fossil fuel. Hello?
Yes.
Can we give examples of renewable energy sources?
No, can we talk about solar energy?
I have asked a question. You are also asking me a question. Say it.
Sir,
Please,
please.
Doc, I'm saying
one.
Yeah, so solar, yes, that is one.
Wind energy.
Wind energy, yes, is true.
Hydropower.
Hydropower, yes.
Hydropower.
Biomass is energy.
Yes, biomass is energy. And
Biogas.
so biogas, this is what they said we should move to. Okay. Now, when we say renewable, it means that the sun is there. Whether you use it or not, it's there. The sun gives energy. So whether you tap it or you don't tap it, the energy is there. Wind energy, the wind is blowing. Whether you set up the turbines to tap the energy from the wind or you don't do it, the wind is blowing. The river is there. If you construct the dam and then they turn the turbines to generate energy, the river is still flowing. If you don't do it, the river is still flowing. And the basic definition of renewable is that they keep renewing, like they are resources that regenerate. They are regenerative sources of energy. So whether you tap or you don't tap, they regenerate. Then we have the non-renewable energy, which is the fossil fuel, and then gas. That one, they are non-renewable because they take billions of years to form. Okay, maybe billions. These geologists, if they tell you how the oil that we are extracting today, the time they were formed, it's millions of years or billions. So they form over time, and they are there. So you can extract and deplete them. And if they are depleted, it will take another billions of years to form. So you will not be there to see their formation or the resurfacing. So gold, diamond, fossil fuel, and all those things, they are non-renewable. Another one is the biomass. Is it biomass? You can cut wood, but that one, even when we get to renewables, there are a lot of questions. As I said, intellectual arguments, we try to balance what we say. How do we manufacture the solar panels? And do solar panels use batteries? Do they use batteries?
Yes, they use batteries.
So how do we get the batteries? Now there is something called lithium lithium, and then rare earth minerals. They are used to manufacture batteries for electric vehicles and other things. How do we get them? You have to mine. And even some arguments are there, the electric vehicles, where do they charge their batteries? The filling stations, are those filling stations powered by solar or by fossil fuel energy? So there are a lot of questions anyway. So take note of these metrics. What do we measure if we want to talk about the environmental aspect metrics? What do we measure? That's the ESG. So for example, carbon emission, 5,000 tons. That is the carbon dioxide emitted. Then recycling rates is 80%. Renewable energy use is 60%. That will determine if this is what you do, then you'll be categorized into a particular group. Either so, okay, recycling rate is 80%, means you do away with a lot of waste. You turn your waste into reusable items. And then renewable energy use 60%, which is more than half the carbon, whatever. Then emission is 5,000 tons. Then that is, you now be categorized into a certain level. Then we have the social metrics, which talks about employee turnover. Each time we talk about turnover, what it means is that the rate at which people enter into the organization as employees and then they leave. So each time you have high turnover, employee turnover, it means things are not good. People get employed in the organization, within a short time they run away. Another set of people come in, within a short time they run away. It means there's high labor turnover, which does not speak well to an organization. But if, on the other hand, you may have an organization, people get employed there, and some, they end up, going on retirement, they stay there very long, and it means things are okay there. So one metric that you can use to measure the social impact is labor turnover. Now, labor turnover is negative, but inventory turnover is positive. So if you have high inventory turnover, it means the rate at which your items are moving. It means the demand for the items are high, so they are moving. So, and then you replenish. So labor doesn't speak well with the organization, but if your inventory turnover is high, it means the rate at which the items are moving is fast. So that means more demand. So we have employee injury rates. That means if the injury rate is high, it means the safety measures are not adequate. Employee training hours, gender diversity, employee satisfaction, community investment, customer satisfaction, human rights compliance, local employment rates. You set up a company in my village and nobody in my village is employed, not even a security man. All the employees are from somewhere else. So what do you take the community for? Okay. So mining company report 40% female workforce. Good. 2 workplace injuries per year, which is not too much. Then 5 million Ghana cedis invested in community projects. That depending on the size and then what the company does. So that's okay. Then you have the governance, board independence, board diversity, anti-corruption compliance, ethical violations, executive compensation, transparency, audit findings, regulatory compliance, whistleblower cases, risk management effectiveness. So these are also the metrics that can be used to measure the governance aspects. So we have the ESG metrics, social, environmental, and then the governance. So for example, 70% independent board members, 0 corruption cases, annual external audits completed. Okay. So that means you are clean. So when investors want to, invest in the company, then they will look at all these metrics to now measure that, in terms of ESG, you are performing well, so we can grant you this amount, we can support you with this grant, and blah, 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 blah. And as I said, the time will come, maybe there will be, you may go to the bank to borrow money and they will ask of some of these things. Okay, so it's almost 3 o'clock. As I said, Sundays is not easy for me. I start from 7 o'clock, then where we are going. And today, yesterday, I couldn't meet one class, so they suggested that after your class, maybe 8 o'clock, I have some few hours with them. Next week, we are ending, right?
Yes, Doc.
Yeah, we are meeting face to face.
Next week.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
So it means next week, Saturday and Sunday, I'll be on campus. Saturday, okay. And when is your exams set?
First week of July.
Pressure.
So then you have a lot of time.
Hey.
There's no time. This time we have 3. We are writing 3 papers.
But I don't know whether my other class, the ones that I handled them this morning, total quality management, they said next week they are supposed to be writing their exams. I don't believe in what they are saying.
Next week is a first.
Anyway, so let's just go on break and come and see what we can do.
Okay.
Okay.
Doc, please, what time do you resume?
It will be 30 minutes time.
Hello, Doc.
Hello.
3:30.
Okay.
So by 3:30.
All right, Doc. Doc, please, I'll call you right when we go to bed.
involves cost. You register it. It is cost roadworthy. It's cost fuel. It's where it cost everything for the period. Then you get the true reflection of the cost involved in the car. Is it simplified now?
Yes, Doc. We
Yes,
also about the tools in TCO.
You know, the other day I also talk about life cycle what? Life cycle costing. Have you assessed that one too?
Yes, Doc, we did that.
So that one too, what is the issue there?
Doc, please. Few of our colleagues had divergent view about the tools. Why is it a tool for TCO? So if you could briefly
Why is
differentiate on it for us.
no, bring your question clearly.
I'm saying that few of our colleagues, they had issues about the tools for the TCO. Okay, why is it a tool? Because
Example.
we had divergent view about it. So if you can explain it further for us.
When we say a tool, how in the first place, what would be your understanding?
Look, for a tool is any item that is used to do a work.
No, in this case, it's not an item. Okay, you are talking about tool as in maybe spanners, pliers, and whatever. But in this case, we are talking about procurement and keeping records and then maintaining the true reflection of cost. And so when we say total cost of ownership is a tool, we don't mean it's an item. We mean it's a strategy. So we use tool here as a strategy to be more transparent and accountable. Hello.
Yes, so please, we are listening.
Yes. So the tool that is used here, is it part of the question that I gave or what?
No, Doc. It was on the notes given to us. The tools.
How is it framed? How is it framed? Frame it well for me. Because total cost of ownership is a concept in procurement or supply chain. Okay. So how is it framed that is giving you serious confusion?
Doc, we had tools and then techniques on the notes just for the life cycle and the other ones too. Yeah. So we wanted to know.
No, those tools are used to measure what? That is what I want. You know, I'm not reading that part. The tools are used to measure what in the notes?
Doc, a moment. I want to. So, Doc, we have strategic tools, and the life cycle costing helps to compare investment not just on purchase price but on long-term operating cost. We also have green KPIs indicators for tracking emissions per delivery, energy intensity per ton kilometer, and packaging waste ratios. We also have public-private partnerships as a tool. Then, aside that, we also have they were all under tools and techniques.
Because tools and techniques of what? Under which topic? That is what I'm looking for.
Social sustainability in transport and logistics.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So if you take, as I said, the total cost of ownership is just keeping record of everything that you do with an item. It could be a building, the purchase amount or the initial amount of acquiring a building. And then after that, the maintenance costs that are involved, maybe the time you get to the end use of the building. But normally I use a car as a perfect example. So in terms of sustainability, we are talking about social sustainability. We deal with human aspects, okay? And we are saying that we can use some of these things to measure as tools for measurement of the sustainability aspect of what we are talking about in terms of transport and logistics. And one of them is the total cost of ownership, which is what I've explained. So when you use total cost of ownership, you are accountable, because you cannot say that you've used a car for 5 years and then in terms of accountability, you are not able to account for the actual cost that is involved. Okay, because community service is something that that must ensure there is transparency and accountability. So we use total cost of ownership in logistics. In this case, procurement, which is the same, which hover around the same thing. So the total cost of ownership is like a strategy that we use to keep proper records of what has happened in terms of measuring sustainability, whether it is the profit aspect, the social aspect, or the environmental aspect. So that is about that. Then when you come to the life cycle costing, it's almost the same as the total cost of ownership, but that one is long term, and it has to deal with the impact that the usage of the item has on the environment, or the impact that it has on sustainability issues. So if you want the distinction between the two in terms of how we use them to, enhance logistics activities in the system, then the two almost talk about the same thing, but one, as we use it, the impact it has on the environment. So total cost of ownership, we don't calculate the impact on the environment like emissions and all that. We just deal with the cost, only the cost of usage of the item from beginning to end. But life cycle cost, it involves the impact of the usage of the particular item on the environment or on sustainability. So I don't know whether I'm making sense.
Yes, you are.
Hello? Yes. Because these are concepts that are used in sustainability or green logistics or the circular economy. The circular economy, we want to make sure that whatever we get from the source, we do the calculation from the source up to the time the item is what? The item expires, or we want to dispose it. And when we talk about disposal, it's about maybe selling it off, auctioning it, or dispose it as it is in terms of that. And then we are saying that total cost of ownership is a tool. And when we say it's a tool, it's just like a strategy to measure sustainability. Then we talk about the total cost of ownership, because everything that we are talking about is in relation to sustainability, particularly with the environmental sustainability related to the life cycle costing, because apart from the cost, we also talk about the cost on the environment, which would be the harm that that particular usage has on the environment. So both economic cost and then the harm it has on the environment. The total cost of ownership is just only the cost involved in the usage, the purchase price, transportation price, operational cost involved till the item gets to a point where we want to dispose it of. So we are able to know exactly how much is involved. I don't know whether that is the concept of total cost of ownership. Unless maybe you are not so specific, because we can use it in context. And if I get the right context, then I'll be able to maybe speak to it. But right now, I'm just explaining it as a concept, or explaining them as concepts. Sorry.
Yes, Doc. We are okay
Yes,
now.
if you place
proceed.
it in a context, it will be better for me. Otherwise, I'm explaining it as a concept.
Doc, we are okay. We can proceed.
Now, I want you to be sure of what is happening, because these concepts are not anything difficult. But if they are in a context that you are not getting it from that context, then you provide the context, I'll get it. But initially you said the total cost of ownership as a tool is very open to me. But if you say it's a tool used to, how is it a tool used to do ABCD or to enhance ABCD? Then you put it within a context. And in that case, I can speak in terms of specifics. I don't know. But how is it bothering you? How is it bothering you, like the understanding?
Doc, we are okay. It was some few colleagues who brought it out, but for the explanation you have given, if there is no any other, then I think you can proceed.
Yeah, but I would really like to help if it's structured in a context that can make you understand how it is framed as a tool, so that you get it. Your understanding is key.
Doctor,
Because it cannot hang on its own. Using it as a tool, it means it's defined within a certain context, and that is what I wanted.
Yeah, Doc, I get you. They are not reaching out, so we can proceed.
Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
All right. So now we want to take up this. I hope you've seen what is being there. Have you seen it on the platform?
Yes, Doc.
Yeah. So that's systems theory. Supply chain is made up of different parts. Just when I say supply chain, the same as logistics. So it's made up of different parts. You have transportation. Transportation is linked to inventory or warehousing. Technology is somewhere there. And all that will come together to make logistics. So when we say logistics, it's not just one thing. It's one thing with different parts. And when you are taking decision on one part, you need to consider the rippling effects on the other parts. For example, if you want to, you are a distribution company and you want to centralize your warehouse in Accra. The whole country, you have a centralized warehouse in Accra. What it means is that you now supply your product from Accra to all the 10 regions. In this case, you want to cut costs on warehousing. So instead of building warehouses in all the regions, you just get one centralized one in Accra. So I want to cut costs on inventory. Fine. Now, truly you have cut the cost, but there's trade-off. What is the trade-off? The trade-off is now you have to ensure that you have very efficient transportation to be able to move all the items efficiently, timely to all the regions. So even though you have beat down costs in the centralized warehousing, part of that cost that you have reduced have shifted to transportation. And transportation will not be reduced. The cost of transportation will not be reduced because you have to move the items to all the 10 regions in Ghana. Okay, so there is that trade-off. Now, on the other hand, if you want to build warehouses across all the 16 regions, it means the cost of the warehousing will increase. Transportation will reduce. But okay, I want to reduce transportation, so let's build warehouses across the 16 regions. So when you do that, transportation costs will reduce, but warehouse costs will increase. How do we balance it? Where do we strike the equilibrium? That in touching one aspect of the system, it does not adversely affect the other one. So that is what we want to do. And we are using the systems thinking or theory to analyze what I've just said. So in logistics, just like the triple bottom line, where you take a decision of the economic aspect, decision on economic, it has influence on the environment, it has influence on the social aspect. If you go to social, the same thing. So it's a system, okay? One system, but with many parts. So if you touch one corner, the other one there will be an impact on the other half. So we think of balancing it. So at the end of the day, there's an equilibrium. So we use the systems theory to analyze what we have just said. And the system theory is a way of understanding how different parts of a system interact to influence the behavior of the whole. The behavior of the whole. So sometimes government wants to provide solution by subsidizing fuel. That is good news, but I can tell you that subsidy will have negative impact somewhere. So if you want to now subsidize the fuel, what do you do so that the impact on the other parts of the system is not negatively affected? So that is what the systems theory seeks to do. The systems theory teaches that we can't fully understand a system such as a supply chain by analyzing its individual components alone. Because if you want to analyze, you make sure that you consider all the components, then you do the analysis to arrive at an equilibrium, decision, so that I want to support society in one corner. Then that support will lead to creating another problem somewhere. So we have examples ahead of us. Okay. Now we must examine how these components interact over time. Okay. So the system theory, for example, think of a public bus system in Accra. It is not just buses and routes. So government wants to introduce public buses in Accra or in our various cities, the major cities in Ghana, maybe Takoradi, Accra, Kumasi, Sunyani, Tamale. Okay. Now we are saying that it is not just the buses and routes, but it involves a whole lot of other component parts. Now, what will be the full system? Fuel supplies affecting availability. You are bringing more vehicles into the system. So fuel supplies, that it will have an impact on fuel availability and cost. Then drivers, whose well-being impacts service reliability. Passengers are here, whose needs change with income and location. Then government policies like fuel subsidies or emission standards. Environmental factors like flooding or air quality. Bringing more buses is good news, of course, we all know. But when they come, are they coming to increase the congestion level? Yes. Another impact is that we already have truck drivers who are also making their livelihood through what they do and other things. If the public buses come, the presence of these public buses, are they going to affect these truck drivers negatively? So you need to look at all these things and then make a decision that will not adversely impact another component. And then you think that, yes, this aspect is okay, but the other aspect, what do you do? So before you take a decision on something like this, in applying the systems theory, you weigh, you can create a scenario and then weigh what would, if we take decision A on component A, what will be the impact on component B, C, D, E? Until you do that particular analysis very well, you may try to solve a problem and in the end creating other problems. So the system theory is telling you that if you want to do an analysis of logistics systems, don't focus on the individual components alone. You have to make sure that the decision is based on how all the components will come together to save the system or safeguard the system so that you don't have negative impact anyway. So is this point okay?
Yes, Doc.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
Doc, we are okay.
All right. So what they are saying is that a problem in one area, say fuel price hikes, can cause ripple effects across the whole transport system, such as reduced services, increased passenger fares, and also even higher private car use, which leads to more congestion and emissions. So if, on the other hand, too, you may want to reduce fuel prices like the subsidies, which is good for everybody. So fuel prices have been reduced. What will be the impact on the other components in the system? Maybe I have parked my car for 1 month or so because fuel prices are high. So I take trotro, I take taxi or public bus. So congestion is easing in the system. A lot of people, because they can't fuel their personal private cars, they've packed them. So I joined the trotro. So less cars in our routes. Now suddenly government says I'm reducing fuel prices. And now I can afford to fill my tank. You can afford to fill your tank. Somebody can do that. Then all of us, we now start to use our cars. We increase congestion in the system. We burn more fuel. We emit more carbon dioxide. So what will you do to balance it? It's a difficult scenario. It's a difficult scenario. So that is why sometimes government will take a particular decision, then you see the opposition or some people criticizing it from another angle, and then you say, but government, yeah, the papa. Then, I mean, you hit one corner. If you are not careful, you create more problems in the other corner. So before you come out with a decision on one component, think about the holistic effect that that decision will have on the whole system. And that is the systems theory, the application of the systems theory. So systems thinking applies systems theory to real world decision making. It asks, how are things connected? What patterns or feedback loops exist? What might be the long-term effects on a change today? So you ask this question. If you want to, you know, you are a logistics boss, you are the director, and you know the logistics system is made up of different components. You can have the IT, you have the warehousing, you have the transportation and other things. You have other institutions. So what decision do you make? You make that decision on just maybe you want to reduce the cost of warehousing. Then that reduced cost, there will be an offshoot to maybe transportation or something else. Okay. Sometimes you want to go technology, you want to go tech. The initial cost may scare you not to do that. But if you are able to enter, the long-term cost will be what? Reduced. It will be stable. So you must weigh all the alternatives to ensure that the decision that you are making is optimum. You make an optimized decision. So example one, freight transport in Ghana. Let's say a logistics company switches from old diesel trucks to new electric vehicles. That seems sustainable. That is definitely sustainable and it's perfect. But system thinking will ask, where will the electricity come from? Is it renewable or fossil fuel? The decision is we want to switch from diesel-powered trucks to electric vehicles. Electric vehicles, we don't take fuel, carbon fuel. That is okay. But the system theory will ask you, where will the electricity come from? The charging. You need to charge these vehicles. So the electricity, where is it coming from? Is it renewable or fuel-based? Then you ask another question. Is there charging infrastructure on rural routes, our rural areas? So you just want to make a decision, yes, because they say energy transition. So from now onwards, we want to do away with all the fossil fuel vehicles. Then we buy electric vehicles. Number one, they are asking you because you don't want to emit what? Carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So going electric is perfect. But where do you get electricity to charge the cars? Then number two, do you have the charging infrastructure, especially along or in the rural areas? Then will delivery delays occur due to what? Charging times, the times it takes to charge. If there's power outage, how do we even charge? So you ask so many questions. You just want to take one decision, which is good. But if you apply the systems theory, then you have to ask all these questions so that you try to, you know, optimize the outcome of the decision. Now, without thinking, one green solution could unintentionally create higher system-wide emissions or inefficiencies. Example 2, banning informal waste transporters, Abubuya. Okay, from today onwards, we don't want them. Some city authorities propose banning informal tricycle riders from safety and order. But what happens if waste collection drops due to fewer haulers? Like now, all the Abubuyas, we ask them not to collect waste, we ban them. So now along with the highly formal one, Zoom Lion and other things, are they enough to be able to collect the waste? How much waste is generated daily in Accra? And how much can be collected by this formal waste trucks. Informal workers will lose their income. That's another thing, because some of them, that is the business. That's also the work they do to survive. Now you ban them. Number one, when you ban them, do the formal sector have the capacity to be able to collect all the waste, especially the additional waste that the Abubuyas were collecting? Number two, do you create new jobs for them? Because as they go around, they collect 5 cedis, 5 cedis. At the end of the day, they get their commission. They also settle them, the owners. If he's the owner, then he knows how he goes about it. But it brings food to the table. So as you are taking this decision to ban their activities, do you have alternative job for them? You ask that question. Now, illegal dumping increases due to collection gaps. Now that you have banned them, the former Zoom Lion people and other things, they cannot collect all. And because they can't collect all, illegal dumping will increase. So until you ask all these questions, you may be doing the wrong thing, but you don't know, thinking that you are formulating a very nice policy. Definitely, if you are driving 7 Abubuya with rotten waste in front of you, it's not easy. Sometimes when you are climbing a hill and a single lane, then it's in front of you, you can't overtake, and then a whole lot of confusion. They don't move fast and all that. But before you come out with a decision, you must, the systems theory tells you, ask additional questions. Ask additional questions, what that decision is likely to create. So in logistics, we apply that in logistics because we are dealing with different components. But at the end of the day, is these different components come to form the whole system. And so if you are not careful, you don't balance things, you can take a good decision somewhere, but you unintentionally create harm somewhere else. So system thinking forces us to zoom out, evaluate trade-offs, as I've said, and design solutions that consider the whole ecosystem. So you are taking a decision, think about the whole ecosystem, so that one decision at one area, one corner, does not lead to confusion in the other systems. Okay, so modern logistics and transport systems are highly dynamic and interconnected. Decisions made in one area, fuel sourcing, infrastructure design, labor practices, or packaging choices, can produce cascading effects across social, environmental, and economic dimensions. This complexity makes systems thinking an essential approach for sustainability. Okay. So fuel subsidies, as I said, government may subsidize fuel due to keep transport affordable. But what are the unintended outcomes? It will encourage the use of fossil fuel. More people will buy, because if today fuel goes down to 8, you see me rushing to the place to go and fill my tank. And a lot of people will be doing so. Tomorrow, you see a lot of cars on our streets, but fuel has been reduced, which is good. But what is the impact? All the private people who were not using their cars now go to use their cars. And when we do that, it will increase greenhouse gas emissions. Now, that is the environment aspect. Then social aspect is urban air quality will decline, because when we all move our cars into the system, we emit more, and the air quality will reduce. And when air quality reduces, public health burden increases. We get more respiratory diseases and other things. And then the profits aspect, long-term inefficiency in supply chain due to lack of clean tech investments. So just one decision. And that decision, you might not have considered the other, domains. So you pick it, government wants to be popular. Okay, you do that. People hail you, but the unforeseen or the impact that we will not see is long term. It will be killing us tomorrow and then create a lot of confusion, but we don't see it. So we need to be careful. So these are examples that we are using to illustrate how the systems thinking and theory can be applied in logistics. In your workplace, management has decided that they are giving people car loans. So, and then what happens is that if you are interested, you fill a form, then they will import the cars. When you fill the form, you indicate the type of car you want and blah, blah, blah. Everybody buys cars in the organization. That is okay because you've increased my status, in society. But what are the consequences? There are consequences. So they are also talking about highway expansion. Expanding roads may reduce congestion, but it will be temporary. So you expand the routes, you invite more cars, more emissions, and then it will induce demand, more sprawl, urban sprawl, harder to build efficient public transport, then displacement of local communities. That's social aspect of it. So we want to say that when you are at this level, maybe you are designing a policy, a logistics and transport policy, get to know that it's a system. Logistics is a system. And what it means is that you have different components that come together to make the logistics system. And so you must be careful in deciding on what to do at a particular component. So as I said, you want to reduce cost. You want to reduce warehousing costs. So you build one central warehouse in maybe Kumasi. Kumasi may be the center of Ghana or something. So you build it there. That is okay. Instead of building warehouses in all the 16 regions. So you have reduced costs and there is no doubt. But the cost will run to transport. Now you need a very efficient transport to be able to move the items to all the 10 regions. So even though the decision is on warehousing, indirectly or directly, it has an impact which is quite negative on transportation. And you can give several examples. So all that we have here are still examples that you take a decision on one corner, then it trickles down to the other and the other. So it doesn't mean that your decision, the initial decision, is not good. Yeah, it is good. It may provide a solution, but the solution may be temporal. So if you don't sit down and then, use the system's ideas to ask so many questions and then weigh alternative courses of action, you may, in your view, taking a good decision, but at the end of the day, it will create some confusion. So today, as I said, I'm very tired, and I want the systems thinking to your basic understanding of it is that everything that is about logistics, the logistics is actually a system. It involves procurement, it involves haulage, or it involves inbound logistics, it involves production, it involves outbound logistics, it involves, sales, it involves customer service. So you go to the supply market, there are items, so you go for the cheaper ones. I mean, the cost of procurement will be cheap. There's no doubt. You have done well. Then you come and produce substandard goods. And the cost of substandard goods will teach you a lesson. Or you take it to the market, you can do all the adverts and then all the, marketing, whatever. But at the end of the day, customer experience does not hide. You use the item, you experience it, then he will come hard at you. Or defects, okay, those who have done lean and then you know about waste. There is rework. When you get substandard goods because you want to beat cost, you produce items that are full of defects. The cost of rework alone gets you mad. So you beat down cost somewhere, and if you don't balance it well, it will affect the other side. And at the end of the day, the whole system becomes wobbly, unstable, because just one decision at a particular component is now having negative impact on all the other components, and that is no good. So this particular area, this particular thing we are talking about is to guide us in decision making, whether at home we can apply it at home and all that. So your workplace, current workplace, it's there. So sometimes our leaders, that's what I'm saying, people may be appointed metro chief executives, regional ministers, even sometimes ministers. Then if you don't get some of these ideas, you can come out with a policy decision, and that decision can lead to your removal, because somebody just made a random announcement, sudden announcement that the toll booths, the whole country, close them down. You close them down how? And these toll booths were manned by disabled people. They were getting food on their table. So did you think about the people who were doing that, who were working there? So you close it, how many years now? And those people, where are they now? Maybe some are dead because of that decision. Okay. But I don't know what they are doing to that man. Because if I were to have the opportunity, that man would have, like Obe, I don't know the word to use. Because this kind of the whole country, and as an individual, you just use your ego to make a decision that will lead to the displacement of thousands of people. And if you look at the amount of money that Ghana might have lost from that time up to now, a lot of millions of Ghana cedis. So sometimes it's not necessarily the course, like, oh, I've done masters and things, but some of these little things that you pick. So that when you are in a position where your decision impacts the lives of people, if you want to make the decision, you can say, oh, I learned something about the systems theory. You can go and fetch it out, sit down, learn it, and then see how it can help you make a decision that will not create more problems than the solution you seek to, bring to the system. So today, I've done well. I think after this, I'll clap for myself. I'm very tired, but sometimes when
You've done well. You've done well.
yes,
I'm even clapping for you here.
Is it?
I'm even clapping for you here.
Yes. So sometimes when I think that I can't do it, but as soon as I meet you, then there's some energy be. So please forgive me. And then I was discussing with Tony. Okay. You know, we miss out some, is it a day or two or so? And if within the week, I have one other class, I'm going to meet them tomorrow evening and then Tuesday evening because I think yesterday, the total day, I couldn't get connectivity. So we didn't even have a lecture. So that if we can find one of the evenings, since all of you are workers, then we do one, even it's 2 hours, so that next weekend we are able to finish with everything, so that when I'm setting my questions, I know that I can do that with confidence because we have covered. But also, let me take this opportunity and then say, you know, apart from what I'm doing, in fact, I operate a small company at the corner, and I train people on AI. AI can help you do so many things easily, particularly your thesis work. You can do it without any hustling. And if you are interested, you are my students, we can negotiate on good terms. Some tokens, then I'll take you through, especially how to write thesis with all the standards, with, top class thesis. I will teach you the techniques. I will use practicals throughout. And then I'll bring articles, I'll bring some, and teach you how to write your background, your problem statement, your objectives and all that, your literature and everything in a very structured manner. Very structured manner. So if you are interested, I will not charge you commercial fees, but that will be after we are done with the formal teaching that we are doing. So normally I encourage my students, not because I'm training people on that, no, but I encourage my students, if there's technology that will help us solve problems and solve them quickly, then I'll urge you, if you want to use it, then fine. I have some training to do in Takrade, but the company has not invited me yet. It's a 2 days training, but that one is a company, so you charge commercial fee. But you are my students. If you want, maybe we'll talk. Then something small at least, so that I buy data and all that. Then I'll give it to you, particularly your thesis that you are going to. I don't know whether you've already started, but even your workplace, anything that you are doing, you bring your problems, then we use the AI to solve it in seconds. So I do that as well. I just want to sell the opportunity to you in case you are interested, but it's not compulsory. This is not part of what I'm doing. This is my private something, but I just see that, let me announce to you, it's an opportunity. It could be an opportunity to some of you. And then we see how we go. But Tony.
Yes, Doc.
So you guys will now decide. I told you Monday, tomorrow I'll be busy. Tuesday I'll be busy.
Yes, Doc.
So I don't know whether maybe Wednesday, if it is feasible, let's look at it. But you people should decide. Let's see. It will just be just one day. Then we meet the face to face, and that will be off.
So that's fine, Doc. I will discuss with the class and then the time and revert to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So I'll see whether I can get something to eat. My tummy self is annoying now.
Doc, please, a hand is up.
Yes. Yeah, talk, please.
Yeah, Doc, I wanted to ask your class, is there a certificate after the class?
Yes, I normally give sets. But have you people started your work? Maybe your thesis and other things?
Yes, Doc.
One batch have started, one batch has not.
Doc,
Oh, okay.
Doc,
Yes.
I'll call you after class about our thesis. Some
Okay,
of us,
no
you are
problem.
supervisors, so.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
We all
Okay.
need it.
Yeah,
We'll call you about it.
So let's decide and see. Yeah, I'm just selling the opportunity. A colleague introduced me to it, in fact, and I've not regretted at all. Never. Because it's just there to make sure that you are stress-free at the workplace. Unless you don't know the language, we call it prompt engineering. That is, you learn the skills, the language of the AI, and when you give it, it will show wonders. So me, I can create movies and things, but that is not the level your listen. Yours is for work and then maybe your academic. So please, I think this is it. If there's any issue, let me listen then.
Yeah, please. So in case after teaching us as a class, but we need a certificate, how much is the certificate?
Oh no, when we decide on how much it will, maybe you give her, it will come with that certificate. I will not charge you separately.
Oh, okay.
Doc, what will be the duration?
So the class, is it going to be the online or face-to-face?
This one, if the school will give us, but I don't think the school may want to give us because it's like practicals. We do it online.
Oh, okay.
I think people are from all over the country for
Yes, please.
this.
Yes.
So if so, it will be online. We take our time. I will demonstrate everything, and I'll use live demonstration articles and see how you can tell, how you can even generate your topic and all that. It's very interesting. I will not deceive you.
Okay.
So what will be the duration?
Normally 2 days. We have it maybe 3 hours, 6 hours.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, but we can discuss the time and then meet Doc so that we do it.
Let's finish with
the school one.
The school one. So next week we are going to meet.
Yes.
So let's finish with that one. Then we talk about this one too.
Okay.
You academic work plus other added new skills that will improve your efficiency, productivity, and all that. Okay, so thank you so much for your patience. And then, Tony, you decide, let's see when it's appropriate that we can meet before the last meeting, our face-to-face on next week, Sunday.
All right, thank you very much, Doc.
All right, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Doc. Judah, see you, are you there?
On you, shame on you. I'm here.
One ya okoda dada. Chese wa brepa opeso free mkono.
Yes, sir.
Oh, chale enye easy.
Oh.
Working and learning at the same time is but very soon it will be over.